Good morning, everyone. Today we begin the histology of the general plan of the gastrointestinal tract. So, the learning objectives for today's lecture is that at the end of the lecture, the student should be able to identify and discuss the various layers of the GIT wall. Right, so you have done this before, that the gastrointestinal system basically consists of three major parts. The first one being the oral cavity, which includes the salivary glands, the tongue, and the teeth that you have done before. Today we are going to begin with the tubular tract, which consists basically of the esophagus. This is your esophagus, the small intestine, the large intestine, the rectum, and the anal canal. After which we'll talk about the accessory gastrointestinal glands that includes the liver, the gallbladder, and the exocrine pancreas. And we are all aware that the digestive system secretes enzymes and hormones that function in ingestion, digestion, absorption of nutrients, and elimination of indigestible waste. So, coming to the basic general plan, the wall of the digestive tube exhibits four layers that show a basic histological organization. Now, these four layers are the mucosa, innermost layer mucosa, the submucosa, muscularis externa, the serosa, or the adventitia. Now, because the different organs function in a different aspect, therefore the morphology of these layers exhibit variation, but the basic histological plan remains the same. As you can see on the right side, this is the picture from DeFeos, and this shows the basic four structures similar to the esophagus and to the stomach, but because of their function, their variation exists. Now, coming to the innermost layer or the mucosa, this is the mucosa. Basically, it is the innermost layer of the digestive tube. It consists of, important, a covering epithelium and glands that extend into the underlying layer of loose connective tissue called the lamina propria. Also, we have an inner circular layer and an outer longitudinal layer of smooth muscles, which together is called the muscularis mucosae and forms the outer boundary of the mucosa. So basically, mucosa has stratum epithelium, first part, then the lamina propria, and then the muscularis mucosae. After the mucosa, we have the submucosa, as you can see in the picture over here. This part of the epithelium, this all is the mucosa. This is the muscularis mucosa. Coming to the submucosa, this part is the submucosa located below the mucosa. It consists of, number one, dense irregular connective tissue. Then we have blood vessels, and then we have the lymph vessels. But more importantly, we have the submucosal Meissner's plexus. This is the nerve over here. Very, very important. It basically contains the postganglionic parasympathetic neurons, which controls the motility of the mucosa and controls the secretory activities of the associated mucosal glands. In the initial portion of the small intestine, the duodenum, the submucosa contains numerous branched glands, and what it exactly it is, what they are called, we'll discuss further on. Coming to the third part, which is the muscularis externa. Please do not confuse it with the muscularis mucosae. Okay, so this is the same slide. This is the slide basically of the esophagus. Okay, so kindly locate the mucosa over here. Mucosa has three parts: stratified the epithelium, the lamina propria, and this is your muscularis mucosae, which has two layers. After which we have the submucosa containing the glands, the vessels, the lymph vessels, and the plexus. After which, this is what we're talking about, which is called the muscularis externa. This huge is the muscularis externa. Okay, it is a thick, smooth muscle layer located inferior to the submucosa. Now, except for the large intestine, This layer is primarily composed of an inner layer of circular smooth muscle and outer layer of longitudinal smooth muscles. Between these two layers, we have the connective tissue and another very, can you see the connective tissue is present over here? And a very important another nerve plexus called the myenteric or the Auerbach's nerve plexus. This plexus also contains the postganglionic parasympathetic neurons and controls the motility of smooth muscle in the muscularis externa. Now the last and the final layer is the serosa or the adventitia. Now the important thing is when to call it serosa and when to call it adventitia. So I just want to introduce you to the concept of peritoneum, intraperitoneal organs. Okay, so this the definition says that it is a thin layer of loose connective tissue that surrounds the visceral organ. So basically, in the abdomen, there are three types of organs: intraperitoneal, retroperitoneal, and the subperitoneal. Intraperitoneal, which are included inside the peritoneum. This peritoneum is a lining. This will include the liver, the stomach. Can you see this? This is basically your peritoneal lining here, parietal peritoneum. Okay, so the liver, the stomach, the intestines, they are basically intraperitoneal. There are some organs which are retroperitoneal. If this is the peritoneal lining, retro matlab piche. Okay, so here, like the pancreas, the duodenum, they have one layer of peritoneum lying anterior to them, and posteriorly they are attached to the body wall. So they are retroperitoneum. And the third category of organs are the subperitoneal organs. These peritoneum, subperitoneal, below the peritoneum, the uterus, the bladder, in which the superior surface is related to the peritoneum. These are your subperitoneal organs. So after having a little bit of idea about this, we come to the part called the serosa. Now, visceral organs may or may not be covered by a thin layer. This may or may not be covered, as in all the intraperitoneal organs will be covered by this mesothelium. Here, intraperitoneal. If mesothelium covers the visceral organs, the organs are within the abdominal or the pelvic cavity, that is intraperitoneal, and the outer layer is called the serosa. So for all intraperitoneal organs, the outermost layer is called the serosa. Right, so this is your stomach, and stomach, like in the previous slide I showed you, is an intraperitoneal organ. Therefore, the outermost layer here is the serosa. It covers the outer surface of the abdominal portion of the stomach, esophagus, stomach, and the small intestine. Also covers part of the colon, ascending and descending, but only on the anterior and the lateral surface, because their posterior surfaces are bound to their posterior abdominal wall and are not covered by mesothelium, as you can see very clearly over here. Okay, so have a look at this. This is basically showing you the structure, general plan of GIT. The hollow inside of the organ is the lumen. Okay, the entire gastrointestinal tract is hollow, it has a lumen. The innermost layer, like I mentioned before, is the mucosa, which contains, okay, after mucosa we have the submucosa, after which we have the muscularis externa, and finally we have the serosa or the adventitia. The mucosa has three parts, namely the epithelium, innermost lining of the mucosa, it could be stratified squamous from mouth to the upper esophagus, or simple columnar from stomach to the rectum. These epithelium have different functions. We'll do every organ in detail further on. Then we have the lamina propria, second part of mucosa, and the lastly is the muscularis mucosae. Coming to the submucosa, it has blood vessels, nerves, lymphatic vessels. The mucous glands are found in the submucosa. Then we have the muscularis externa, the inner layer which is formed by the circular smooth muscle, and the outer layer which is arranged in longitudinal fashion. The outermost is the serosa, the visceral peritoneum, that is only for intraperitoneal organs. Right, so adventitia will surround the esophagus and the distal rectum. Why? Because they are not completely covered by the peritoneum. Right, similarly, same thing, esophagus. Okay, now when the digestive tube or the esophagus or the pancreas who are lying retroperitoneal or not covered by mesothelium at all, then it lies outside of the peritoneal cavity and it is called the retroperitoneal. In this case, the outermost layer instead of serosa will be called adventitia because it is adhered to the body wall and consists of the connective tissue. So let's quickly summarize today's lecture. Basically, the GIT is a hollow tube extending from the oral cavity to the rectum. The wall, the entire GIT, the wall exhibits basic organization of the entire tube, contains basically of mucosa, innermost layer. The composition of the mucosa is the covering epithelium, the loose connective tissue called lamina propria, the smooth muscle layer, muscularis mucosa, inner circular and outer longitudinal layer. The submucosa after the mucosa contains dense, irregular connective tissue layer with blood vessels, nerves, and lymphatic vessels. Also contains the submucosal nerve plexus that controls the muscularis mucosae. Coming to the muscularis externa, thick, smooth muscle layer inferior to the submucosa normally contains an inner circular layer and an outer longitudinal smooth muscle layer. The myenteric nerve plexus is located between the inner and the outer muscle layers. The myenteric nerve plexus controls the motility of the smooth muscles in the muscularis externa. The last layer is that of the serosa. It is a thin layer of tissue called the mesothelium that covers the visceral organs, covers the abdominal esophagus, mind you the abdominal, not the thoracic, stomach, small intestine, and the anterior wall of colon. We call it adventitia when it covers the thoracic part of esophagus and the posterior wall of the ascending and the descending colon. Basically, that the structure is not lying within the peritoneum. Here, so this is basically from inner to outer the layers of the general plan of GIT. This is the lumen. Okay, then we have the mucosa, innermost mucosa containing surface epithelium, lamina propria, and the muscle layer. After which we have the submucosa, which contains nerves, vessels. Then we have the muscularis externa, containing of a longitudinal muscle layer and a circular muscle layer. Outermost layer is the serosa. Serosa when it is visceral peritoneum. Adventitia when it is not covered by peritoneum. Right. So we can see the lymph node in the submucosa, glands in the mucosa. We see the huge submucosal glands. In between, we can see the myenteric and the submucosal nerve plexuses. And this is the lining visceral peritoneum. As you can see over here, this continues as the outermost layer or the serosa. So that sums up for today. Thank you.